Let's go ahead and remove the heating element. We do have a mounting bracket that runs down to the cabinet of the dryer with our trusty Phillips screwdriver. We're going to remove 2 screws, left, and my screwdriver is, and to the right. Here we go. Behave yourself, screwdriver, behave yourself. Now we'll go ahead and walk this up and right out of there. There's your heating element. Let's go ahead and continue on with the other components of the dryer. We do have our thermal fuse here that's on the back side of the blower housing. We'll pull that connection right off, and we will go ahead and remove this fuse. You have a screw at the bottom, Phillips screw, and we have one at top. That now releases your thermal fuse, and this right here is your thermistor. To remove this connection, you squeeze it and pull apart. This one here has one Phillips screw holding the thermistor in place. Remove that screw, and there is your thermistor. Okay, next up is your rear bulkhead. A lot of times, these rollers may go bad and resulting in damage to the shaft. If you have to remove the shafts and replace them, a lot of times it's super hard to get a wrench up on the backside of that nut. And a lot of times it's actually easier to remove the rear bulkhead to gain access to that nut to hold it in place while you're removing the shafts. And I'll show you guys how to remove the rear bulkhead on this particular dryer. We'll start off with several screws here at the backside, and they're all gonna be Phillips screws. And you're basically gonna work yourself around, removing a bunch of Phillips screws off on the backside. There we go. Okay. And then, if I'm not mistaken, we have one here at the bottom. We'll keep working ourselves around. Here. One here as well. Work yourself to the top right here on the right side. And we're getting pretty close, folks. We're getting pretty close to removing that rear bulkhead. All right. Let's see, did we forget any screws? No, there we go. Now your rear bulkhead has been removed, and I will tell you from experience, as mentioned, rollers go bad, wipes out the shafts. Now you can basically place this down, get your wrench or socket on here, and remove these nuts to replace the shafts. That's the easy way. Now I want to talk about the motor. Pretty robust unit, but it can fail, and I'm going to show you guys how to remove the motor and the blower housing just in case it needs to be done. First off, this exhaust tube that runs in the back needs to be removed, so we're going to walk around, and with the trusty Phillips screwdriver, you have one screw here. We're going to remove it and pull that 4-inch wide exhaust tube right out of there. Now we'll go ahead and walk around, and we do have a couple connections running to the motor. We do have your main connection running directly to the motor. You squeeze bottom, squeeze top, and pull it right out. Now, very important, you do have another connection. There is a trip switch, so if the belt were to snap, it trips the switch, it shuts power off to the motor for safety reasons, but you do have a connection to it on the backside here, and this one could be kind of tight and could be kind of a bear, so you'll grab it firmly and pull it right out of there. Okay, that's all out of the way now. You see that right there, just confirming that. We do have one Phillips screw here at the bottom on the right side to the motor, the frame. And we have another screw here. Let me try to get on it. That could be the difficult part. Remove that screw. And now you lift, slide to the right, and You have pulled your motor out with your blower and your blower housing. Pretty easy stuff. Okay folks, there you go. Everything's completely out of the dryer, minus the wiring harness. It's all stripped down. If you were to replace the wiring harness, pretty straightforward and easy. Just disassemble everything and replace the wiring harness, that's it.